Yeah, Big JTV, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm so thankful for y'all pulling up, man. We're I think 5 subscribers away from 1,800. Shout out to the 1,800 members, subscribers who've tapped in, man. And if you want to get more content or support your boy, join the membership. Goddamn, I gotta clear my throat. Y'all also join the Patreon, link in bio as always. Let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it, right? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's talk about this Diddy case, right? And like I said, I think Diddy's gonna get a lower charge. I think he's gonna be found guilty of something. And my real hot take here is gonna be time served. In other words, this man is gonna be free by the end of the year. He's gonna be free by the end of the year because the sentencing is gonna be smaller. And he's going to spend probably a total of, 2 years incarcerated. He'll get a bond. He'll be able to come out and be on probation for maybe another year because the biggest charges are not going to stick. They're not going to stick because we've been lied to by the media as to what he is. And it's been basically a court case of an abusive, jealous, drug-fueled boyfriend who has potentially a drug-fueled, freaky girlfriends, plural, who were good and down for the ish until ish hit the fan when the feds decided to put bedroom politics on trial as to what's going to happen at the end.
This is not what we wanted to see. We wanted to see Jaguar Wright in an upside-down headstand with Jay-Z finger popping her, with Sherry Shepherd and Lauryn Hill and Meek Mill on his back. Diddy with a gag ball in his mouth. And Jay-Z whipping Jaguar Wright while Mary J. Blige was having her titties in her face. And Justin Bieber somewhere 12 years old licking on a lollipop and a memoir from Kim Porter saying he killed me. And somehow we tangled that into a Tupac and Biggie. That's what we wanted. And we wanted it all on tape. Let's be real here. We didn't get that. That's what we wanted to see. And so since that didn't happen, nobody gives a damn anymore. Now it's just about they all crazy and they all whores and they was all going and Diddy's a freak. Let's be real here. Can we talk? Because that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted Jay-Z in a crop top and some Diddy dukes incriminating himself next to Usher. We wanted to see a herpes test. That's what we wanted. That's exactly that's what you wanted. And we wanted somehow for Beyonce to be devastated and subpoenaed in the court. That didn't happen. That wasn't this case. And so you guys are over it. And you don't give a damn about Cassie or Jane Doe. Nobody cares. We wanted Meek Mill to be gangbanged on an island. That's what y'all wanted to see. That's what y'all wanted. And somewhere Jaguar Wright was saying, I told you so. Ooh, oh, ooh, ooh, oh. You want a Jaguar Wright in the back. Ooh, ooh, that's what you wanted.
Bada boom, bada bang right there, man. He spoke facts. A lot of the media has played games with this entire trial. In other words, it's basically a domestic violence case. It's not necessarily a sexual assault case. A lot of this was conjured up by the media. All these lawsuits, all these civil suits, a lot of it was exaggerated. Let's read this article on TMZ right quick, right? So it says, Diddy's defense, he's a domestic abuser, but no racketeer was in charge with BDV. Diddy's defense is making their closing arguments in criminal trial, and they are owning the domestic violence testimony, but they say there's no way he's guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking. Diddy's co-lead counsel is Mark Agnifilo. Diddy's co-lead counsel is handling the defense closing arguments on Friday, and he told jurors Diddy's own domestic violence stories Cassie and Jane told on the stand. But Agnifilo was quick to point out this is no domestic violence charge here. Agreed. And let me say something, man. I personally believe that CNN was given that video by the feds. The feds acquired that video of Diddy beating up Cassie, which is disgusting. Diddy's revolting. He's a horrible person. I wouldn't have him around my sisters, you know what I mean, and around my family. Hell no. But does that mean he's a criminal, though? I don't think the feds proved it. But the feds want their piece of blood. I don't think he walks, but hey, could he walk? Very likely, bro. Very likely. So Diddy's attorneys say the bad boy founder would have pled guilty if he was charged with DV, but it's a state crime and this is a federal case. And Agnifilo scoffed at the feds, charging his client, saying there's no way Diddy is guilty of RICO or sex trafficking of his ex-girlfriends. Agnifilo told jurors the case is about love, and he claims love had been said more than 800 times in the 7-week trial. And similar to what Agnifilo told TMZ last year, that Diddy was arrested in Manhattan, he pointed the finger at the feds, saying they're targeting a successful black entrepreneur and going into his bedroom to find some dirt, making light of federal raids that found baby oil and lubricant in Diddy's homes. He cites Diddy's hard work growing his business empire over decades and the diversity, choice, and hiring before DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, even being a thing. Diddy was doing it 24 years ago, Agnifilo said. And that's something I want to really point out, is that a lot of this case was by people who worked for Diddy, who wanted to target it. He's a piece of shit. He's horrible, but he's targeted. So the feds were doing any and everything to put him in the bin. Let's finish this off. Agnifilo said Diddy didn't bribe or kidnap anyone. Prosecutors say Capricorn Clark was kidnapped for several days when she was interrogated by Diddy's security, but Agnifilo says Capricorn Clark went home every night and joked that this is a door-to-door kidnapping. He asked the jury if they felt they had been kidnapped because they had to go to court each day, then go home. He also pointed out Clark went back to work for Diddy after she was allegedly kidnapped. Diddy's attorney said there was no drug distribution, or as prosecutors allege, as Diddy brought drugs for personal use, but says he wasn't selling the substance. Goes back to what I said earlier. He's a drug addict. On Cassie, Agnifilo says she ended up with millions from her civil suit against Diddy, and tells the jury she won 100-1-0 against Diddy, who is now in jail, while Cassie has millions in the bank. Agnifilo says that they had a long relationship with plenty of love, and they lived a swinger lifestyle and connected over sex. I believe that's the truth. I personally believe that's the truth. Cassie has $30+ million in her bank account, right? Today. She is currently with a new husband. She has, I think, now 3 children. And she was able to leave Diddy out of her own volition. And guess what? After she left Diddy, while she was with her husband, she slept with Diddy. Yes, that got uncovered, right? So she's not as innocent as she is portraying herself to be, right? I just believe, again, they had a toxic relationship. They were both freaky. They both liked to get it on. They both liked drugs. They both liked to party. And once Cassie started to see Diddy getting a new woman, she got mad, she got sad, she got tired. And years later, once she saw that Diddy had moved on and publicly shown off somebody like Young Miami. Again, I think Young Miami was huge to this case, even though she wasn't there on the front end. She got mad. She got jealous. She felt like she needed to get repaid back for all the freak offs that she did with this man. And there's nothing worse than a woman scorn. And that's what I feel this was. The feds jumped on it because the feds, for some reason, they want Diddy in jail forever. But it's not going to work. I believe Diddy is for free man in 2026, 2027. And this was all a show trial. This was all a distraction. And on top of that, I believe this was a whole humiliation ritual. Yes, I said it, a humiliation ritual. Hey, but what do I know, man? Big J TV. Like, comment, sub. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. I'm out.